Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're diving straight into an everyday situation that, let's be honest, almost all of us have either experienced firsthand or witnessed at some point. Just a simple trip to the mall. But, as we're going to see from our source material today, this totally mundane outing, it quickly spirals into a high-stakes lesson in safety, distraction, and responsibility. We're breaking down the exact anatomy of how a child gets lost, and more importantly, how the whole thing gets resolved, following the story of a teenager named Leo and his younger sister Lena. It's the ultimate question that strikes pure fear into the heart of any parent or older sibling. What actually happens when a really fun trip suddenly turns into a frantic search? Well, throughout this explainer, we're going to track the physical and emotional roller coaster of Leo and little Lena. We want to uncover those absolutely crucial takeaways hidden inside what starts out as a completely innocent sibling outing. So, as we follow their journey, pay close attention to how incredibly fast the environment itself actually shapes their behavior. All right, Act 1, the bargain. Setting the stage for our story where Leo's teenage plans crash right into his very persistent little sister. So right off the bat, we've got a classic negotiation happening between these two siblings. Leo has these super practical concerns stacked up right against Lena's absolute promises. I mean, Leo's naturally reluctant, right? He knows exactly how these trips usually pan out. Lena runs literally everywhere, she begs for toys, she cries, it's a whole ordeal. But Lena, she counters every single practical concern he has with this steadfast promise to behave. She totally insists she's going to walk by herself, she'll only look, because, looking is free, and she absolutely, positively won't cry. And this negotiation leads to a pretty vital social contract between them. Before they even step foot outside the house, they agree on a really strict set of mall rules. She's got to listen to Leo at all times, stay glued right next to him, absolutely no running, no disappearing acts, and definitely no crying for toys. Leo even dangles a potential reward of a small ice cream if she actually pulls it off. This sets up the boundaries and expectations for the entire trip. It's basically the safety net they're totally relying on.
Moving right along to Act 2, the distraction. Let's see exactly how this massive sensory environment puts Lena's promises to the ultimate test.
Look, a mall isn't just a building, right? It's this massive, completely overwhelming sensory environment that is literally designed from the ground up to grab your attention. Just notice how quickly things unravel here, step by step. First, they walk through the doors. Bam! Instantly, Lena is hit with this wave of visual and auditory overload. Her focus shifts off her brother and onto the bright lights, then right over to a massive screen blasting movie trailers. Next thing you know, her sense of smell is hijacked by the scent of chocolate, and finally she spots the pretty dresses and toys. It's like, step by step, the environment itself pulls her attention further and further away from her anchor, which is Leo.
But, as they say, it takes two to break a connection. The real tipping point happens when Leo's attention gets momentarily pulled away too. His buddy calls him to figure out where they're supposed to meet, up near the second-floor cinema entrance. So Leo tells Lena don't move while he takes the call. Lena says she's just going to look at the toy shop from the outside for just 1 minute. Well, that tiny, urgent little window of distraction for Leo, that is literally all it takes for Lena to just kind of drift off right into the shop.
So now she's inside the shop, and initially Lena is just amazed by these giant teddy bears, the dolls, the talking robots, the whole shebang. But then she turns around. The playful tone of the day takes a massive nosedive as she asks herself, I don't know this place. Did he leave me? She realizes her brother isn't standing right behind her anymore, and just like that, all those amazing toys completely lose their magic, totally replaced by that sudden, absolutely terrifying feeling of being completely alone in a massive, unfamiliar place.
Which brings us to Act 3, the rescue. Let's look at the Lost Protocol.
Luckily for everyone, a really vigilant mall security guard spots a little girl looking terrified and quickly steps in. He executes an absolute textbook Lost Protocol. First, he gets her name, Lena. Then he asks for her guardian's phone number, calls it right away, and tells her to wait safely with him at the toy shop entrance. But here's the thing. This only works out because Lena, even though she was terrified, bravely stayed calm and actually had Leo's phone number memorized. I mean, wow, that preparation right there is what saves the day, and it perfectly models exactly what a child should do in a real-world emergency.
Now, meanwhile, on the other end of the line, Leo gets this completely unexpected call. And his reaction? Instant panic. He just says, "Where should I come?" In literally a split second, he shifts from being a kind of frustrated teenage brother just trying to hang with his friends to a fiercely protective guardian. The sheer gravity of his responsibility just hits him like a ton of bricks all at once.
And finally, we arrive at the revolution.
So Leo sprints over to the toy shop entrance. They reunite, both just overwhelmingly relieved, but also acutely aware of how one tiny, everyday distraction sparked such massive fear for both of them. And honestly, this entire experience fundamentally redefines the whole concept of wandering off for Lena. It's no longer just breaking some boring rule her older brother made up to ruin her fun. No, it is a direct, tangible threat to her safety. She felt that panic firsthand. Suddenly, those original mall rules they agreed on? Yeah, they make perfect sense to her now.
And you know what's really impressive here is how Leo handles the aftermath. Instead of dishing out some harsh punishment or losing his cool and yelling at her in the middle of the mall, his relief clearly, completely outweighs his anger. He responds with genuine empathy. He validates her bravery, pointing out how great she did staying calm for the security guard. They reaffirm their promises, with Lena vowing never to wander off alone again. And to top it all off, Leo actually follows through on his earlier offer of a chocolate ice cream. Just a sweet way to calm their frayed nerves and sort of reset the whole day.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to reflect on their story for a second. We literally just saw how a simple cascade of sensory distractions paired with one quick phone call nearly derailed an entire day. It really makes you realize how crazy fast a mundane situation can turn dead serious. So I'm going to leave you at this. When was a time a simple distraction taught you a major lesson in taking responsibility? Really think about it and consider just how well prepared you are to handle the unexpected. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.